All right, everybody, we're back, and we are with our last guest for the day, John Howard. John Howard is the Director of NRA Education and Training. John, welcome to the Forge of Freedom.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Well, if you would start out, just introduce yourself a little bit. What's your background? How did you get involved with the NRA, and how long have you been involved with the Education and Training Division?
So I'm retired Navy. After I retired from the Navy, I was a POG, an admin guy, but I've always been an enthusiast. I came to NRA, was hired for the Youth Programs Department back in 2000, so I've been in the Education Training Division for 25 years now.
Okay. And you've been in the training and education. How long have you been the director?
About a year and a half.
Okay.
I was a deputy director prior to that, and I was a national manager of training prior to that, national instructor trainer before that. So
Okay.
I've been there a while.
Okay. I had a gentleman from NRA ILA on earlier, and he talked a little bit about the history of the NRA. But if you would talk a little bit more about how the NRA's roots really has its roots in training. Can you get into some of that history?
Yeah, so, after the Civil War, they decided that the people down in the South could shoot a lot better than people up in the North. And they formed the National Rifle Association to train citizens in marksmanship.
Okay. So they were, the Yankees didn't have as good.
Right, they didn't have the same skills.
Yeah.
So they weren't.
Today.
Yeah. So they were concerned with the marksmanship after the Civil War, and it was founded by some officers, right, from the Civil War. And so the NRA has its founding and its roots in training, and has carried on that legacy for over nearly 200 years.
Yeah, 150 years.
And so if you would talk a little bit about where the NRA is today, how many instructors does the NRA have nationwide? How many, if you know the numbers, how many students do they teach annually? And what are some of the things that the NRA is working on, if they're changing anything or coming up with any new programs?
So we currently have right about 120,000 instructors and range safety officers, about 7,000 coaches, 2,200 training counselors that actually certify our instructors. They reach hundreds of thousands of students a year. Actually reporting the training, NRA training, but our instructors teach more than, just NRA courses. A lot of them teach their state carry. So, I know they reach probably nearly 1 million a year.
So you have these programs, these training programs to certify instructors to teach NRA curriculum.
Yeah.
And then you get a sense for how many people they are teaching because they register their classes.
Right. So, you have to report, if you're doing an NRA course, you have to report it, register it, report the students in order to print an NRA certificate.
Yeah. So these are not made up numbers. They're not, just pulling out of thin air.
Yeah. But I am just assuming we have so many instructors that teach non-NRA courses. They come to NRA. Basically, what the NRA certification does is gives an individual credibility for what they already know. So, you got to be a gun person. You've got to be an active, talented shooter to get through an instructor course, get the certification. And a lot of trainers don't even teach the NRA curriculum, but they have the credibility for, and then they can present their curriculum to the states or whatever they need to do.
Yeah. And I know a lot of the NRA curriculum is recognized by many states for the purpose of licensing requirements. But some states have separate requirements, and as you say, the NRA instructors may adapt the curriculum to meet whatever state requirements are available, or they may just, irrespective of the licensing requirement, may be teaching some other curriculum. Right?
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
It's safe to say, I think, the NRA is the largest firearms training organization in the world.
I would feel that. Yeah, I feel that. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And how many instructors did you say earlier?
Right, about 120,000 instructors and range safety officers, and
Okay.
about 8,000 coaches.
So I think
Yeah,
that's
that's
important
incredible.
to understand when they see the NRA on television. They don't see what you're doing for youth or what you're doing for training.
Yeah.
And that's what you represent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, one of the things one of the reasons I invited you to come on the show is to talk a little bit about the inaugural Trainers Symposium, which is tomorrow and Sunday, right?
It is, yes.
Yeah. Could you tell what is that? I know that there was an email sent out to all the trainers to attend.
Yes.
What's going to be going on at that symposium?
So, I mean, for years, we've always wanted to do something to engage our trainers more than just having like an update, right? And the director of shows and exhibits threw something at us, said, "Hey, have you ever thought about doing a B2B symposium?" We're like, "What's that?" So it just grew from there, and it was put together kind of quick. Our first meeting on it was at SHOT Show. We met with a couple people, and I hired a really good guy in late last year, Ed Zoe. He's a really high speed competitive shooter. I mean, shoots IDPA, NIPSC, and that kind of stuff. And he's young. So he's like really in tune with all the latest stuff. He's got his finger on the pulse of what's going on in the industry. So I signed him to do this, and he's kind of put it together. And I'm very proud of what he's done so far. So the big test is going to be how the weekend goes, right? But it's something we'd like to do every annual meeting. I mean, like in the past, we had the Personal Protection Expo. That was just geared towards trainers and things like that. But this is something that we can do at the annual meeting, and it's open to everybody. So anybody can come, but you have to be an NRA instructor to be eligible for the raffle. So a lot of the people have donated stuff to us to raffle to the attendees. We're giving free renewal to all the attendees that are instructors. We're renewing them for a 2-year renewal. So, and I know there's things that we got a sponsor, shootingclasses.com. He's sponsoring us a mixer we're going to do tomorrow night at 6:00. So, come over, mingle with other trainers, other like-minded people, have a drink. Doesn't have to be alcoholic. And we're going to have some snacks, things like that. It's like a meet and greet. So.
Yeah, sounds good. And the symposium is tomorrow from 2 to 6 and Sunday from 10 to 2. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so even if you're not a trainer, you're not an instructor, if you have any interest in being a trainer and instructor, or if you're just curious about what the training organization or training arm of the NRA is all about, I assume this would be a good introduction to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, there's we have people that are going to be doing presentations like CERT and Mantis and those kind of people that actually have the tools, and there's a guy that's going to be doing hearing, how important hearing is as an instructor and for the students and the things that are available for that. I mean, so there's all kinds of things that are great information for any shooter, anybody, any enthusiast. So everybody's welcome. All NRA members, everybody that's here is welcome, but the only requirement for the raffle is you have to be an instructor.
Okay. All right. Well, John, I really appreciate you being here. Mike, do you have any other questions? We covered.
Well, a couple things. Where can people find out about training? If they're in Tucson or New Jersey, Texas, how can they find out about an NRA course? And then I've got a thing, if I want to say something, don't let me forget about the literature that they get with these courses.
Sure.
Yeah, NRAinstructors.org. That is our website. That's where instructors register their training. They can take, the students can register for their classes. That's how they report their training. So all of the advertisement for our courses is at NRAinstructors.org.
And I pulled that up on the screen here so our viewers can see it. This is NRAinstructors.org.
Right.
And you see there's find an NRA training course near you.
Right.
So that's the best place to go if you're looking for some firearms training.
Yep. Put in their zip code, a search radius from 10 to 500 miles, and they can whatever's coming up in that area.
Yeah. And you can
It'll
see
give
there's
the contact information.
Yeah, perfect. You can see there are many disciplines here that the NRA is involved in teaching, right?
Yeah,
So
there is. And we're looking at streamlining the naming of those courses and streamlining it to, they've evolved over the years. So, you know, things have changed. But we're going to modernize that. I've just hired a curriculum coordinator. And one of his main focuses is going to be, we need to get a CCW handbook out because we're using the pistol and personal protection outside the home. We're going to update pictures, language, align all of the classes that have come out. So he's got a
great.
Yeah, and the
big
defensive
task
pistol
ahead.
is still on PDF. That's
Yeah.
how you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you do that class?
Yes.
I love that class.
That's a
I
great
think
class.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. One thing I will tell people about the literature that they get. First of all, these classes are usually very reasonably priced. But one of the things we always tell students is, just for instance, the basic handgun course. The literature you get is, I mean, it's worth the price of admission just for the book.
In our opinion, it's second to none in terms of basic gun handling and marksmanship.
So we commend you for the literature you have, and we think that's worth the price of admission in and of itself. Before you do it, if you don't do anything else, you get the book.
Yeah. Are there any big changes on the horizon with respect to NRA Training Division or how they interact with instructors or other issues?
Yes. So, I mean, we have new leadership. We're hiring new people, and our leaders are shooters and very active shooters, competitors. Our direct boss is a high-speed competitor. So we're going to bring in things like practical rifle, practical shotgun type class, defensive classes.
Nice.
With that platform, we're going to add reflex sights, red dot to our pistol courses, defensive courses. There's other things that we have planned. I just can't think of them off the top of my head.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, so the big thing is we're building back our staff. So I just hired two. I've got 2 openings now. If you guys are looking for jobs in Virginia,
right? You got 2 people here.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, as we fill those and we get real, motivated people in there to do the job that we got ahead, that's our main focus, is modernize and, bring everything into alignment.
Yeah.
Like the CCW and personal protection outside the home and defensive pistol, we want all the range commands to be the exact same way and all that stuff like that.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Well, I want to just commend you for your curriculum, and I may offend somebody. I hope I don't. Your curriculum, your literature. Of course, I can't speak for all your instructors. You've got a gazillion of them.
Yeah.
But one of the struggles that I encounter with folks, especially people who have been around guns all their life, think they don't need instruction.
Right.
I can promise you that the work that the NRA does to train people is sufficient, that even if you've been around guns all your life, you're going to learn something.
Yeah.
And it's going to be valuable.
Yeah. Agreed. All right, John. Well, thanks a lot for coming along. We really appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us to chat about the NRA Training and Education Division. And I hope that if you're watching and you're here in Atlanta, don't hesitate to go check out the Inaugural Trainers Symposium tomorrow from 2 to 6 and Sunday from 10 to 2.
Yep, absolutely.
All right.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you bet.
Okay.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks for
I
coming
hope
by.
I see you guys at our symposium.